Hey there, you guys. Okay, we are live, and this is the last week in May. So we have to really set our intentions for this week because Friday is the last day of the month, and we all want you to stay in this group. We want you here for the trainings that we have to offer in June, and we want you to hit your bigger goals of 2-star and beyond, okay? So please comment below if you're watching this live or you're watching the replay. I want to know. I'm going to talk about closing the deal, but here's the situation. We have our backs up against the wall right now because it is the last week of the month. So you're going to have to do some things this week that you don't normally do. I know we all love our routines of how we work our business and our morning routine and the things we normally do each day and the number of invites and blah, blah, blah. Throw it out the window. Okay, because you're in a different situation. Let me just say who I am in case you don't know. I'm a mom, I'm a wife. I've been doing this for 11 years. I'm a 3-time 15-star diamond and a 3-time top 10 coach and an 8-time elite team. And I say that not to brag, and I hope it doesn't come across that way, but I just say that so that you know I've been there, done that. And I know that in situations like this, where you are, where we're going for 2-star and beyond, you have to dig deep. You have to do the really hard stuff that the average person and the average coach is not willing to do. They're not willing to let it get messy. They're not willing to let it get ugly, okay? And that's where you need to be, because what you need in this business is momentum. Momentum is going to get you to 2-star, it's going to get you to 5-star, it's going to get you to 10-star and beyond. If you don't have that momentum and that timing, what will happen is the diamond that you developed already, or the emeralds or whatever, by the time you get that next diamond or 2 more diamonds, the other ones have kind of fallen off. And so then you're like, okay, I've popped, I hate to use that word. I've developed, 3 diamonds so far, but yet I'm here at just diamond rank because none of them stay diamond at the same time. You have to have momentum and timing in order for this to really take off. Yes, Kelsey's like the big mo. Yes, exactly. So right now you need all hands on deck for this week, okay? We need to get really serious. All systems go. This is the last week. So you're going to need to take some of your routines and tweak them a little bit. Ask the family to get on board. If you have an assistant, you might need to ask for extra help. If you have a significant other or family, you might need to ask for extra help and give yourself grace, because this week should look different than other weeks. You're going for a big goal. So what we're going to focus on this week are follow-ups and one-to-one messages. Don't kid yourself by thinking that that post talking about the business opportunity is going to be the thing that suddenly gets you 4 new coaches this week, okay? I've been there. Trust me, so many times I've made that mistake of going, well, I have a whole bunch of people I could follow up with. Could it be so much easier just to write a pretty post and hope that 5 or 10 people come to me and say, Janelle, I'm just ready to do this. Where do I sign up? That would be beautiful. And it's so easy to think, if I just curate the perfect picture and the perfect post, that's going to happen. Not that you shouldn't curate that perfect picture and post and do that, but do not rely on that. And if you catch yourself doing that, if you catch yourself doing a post, thinking that that's what's going to do the trick this week and bring those new coaches into you, I want you to stop yourself and say, who am I kidding right now? I need to talk to this many people and follow up with them one-to-one. I need to talk to them one-to-one. Okay, so really focus on those one-to-one follow-ups this week, not new invites, because listen, inviting is freaking hard. It is hard. Trust me, I know. But following up is even harder because you're like, yeah, but I already put it out there and they weren't really excited about it. I wasn't excited about it. When I first heard about it, I was like, no, that's so not for me. Okay, so realize that is a very common first response. You need to peel back the layer and break down those walls through conversation. Okay, so we're going to go through just 5, actually it's 4 quick things I want you to focus on, okay, and then we're done with this training. So number 1 this week, I want you to eat that frog, and that means starting tonight, okay? What I would recommend you do tonight is something in your team page or something to fire your coaches up about going Emerald this week. Okay, something tonight, whether you go live for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever. I know you're thinking, but I want to have like a whole training on it, and maybe you do already have a training, or your upline has a training you can use, and by all means use that. Or maybe you can use that in addition to you just going live and just firing them up and saying, listen guys, I'm all in for this business, and we're going places. I need to know who's with me, who's going to go Emerald this week. I can't wait to give you that shout out. So go live in a team page or do a training or something tonight. It doesn't have to be long, okay? And to get your coaches fired up about going Emerald. Next week it could be something prettier and more well thought out or whatever. But you never know with that going live and throwing out an incentive to your team to go Emerald. It could be just the right timing for just the right person, right? So do that. Okay. Also, with eating that frog, you have to be working from a list to do your follow-ups. Okay, so hopefully you've been really diligent about tracking things and you are working from a list this week. Not only working from a list, but eat that frog has to do with doing it first thing in the morning. So yeah, I know that might not be your normal thing that you do. Maybe even your first thing is that you wake up and work out. Guess what? You're gonna wake up earlier this week. Half an hour, maybe an hour earlier. Let your significant other know you're gonna wake up earlier this week and you're gonna do some work where you don't normally do it. Yes, it's gonna be hard. Yes, it's gonna be uncomfortable. I'm gonna do it too, okay? We've gotta do this. So waking up early and doing those follow-ups, not creating that post, the easy thing, not creating maybe the Insta story that you're hoping will attract some new conversation, following up with the people that you've already been talking to. Most of you that are in here, if not pretty much all of you, you've run groups before. You have people who follow you on social media. You have friends and family and acquaintances and relatives and people you used to go to school with and people you used to work with. You have tons of people that you can talk to. And I know you know that. I know that too. I've got those people too. We just have these people that we're kind of afraid to follow up with. And that's what we need to do this week. We need to eat that frog and we need to follow up those people first thing in the morning, okay? So wake up earlier and do those one-to-one messages. Secondly, the power of influence. Keep in mind the power of influence. So what does that mean? So as you're doing these one-to-one messages with people and following up, realize that people act. They buy and they join, they act when they feel that they do so in order to solve a problem that they have, period. Every time, think about it, anytime you buy something, anytime you sign up for something voluntarily, you're doing it for a specific reason, right? People do these things to solve a specific problem. So when you're talking to people in these one-to-one messages, if you're putting a whole bunch of fluff words around what you really are trying to get at, they're not necessarily reading through the lines, okay? So really think, the person that you're talking to, what do they really want? You know what they need. They need community. They need accountability. They need a business where they can, have it long-term and work. And like, all these things that they need and you think that they should want, but what do they really want? Have you thought about that? Quick example, when my sister, and a lot of you on my team know this story already, but when Shalene was testing Shalene Extreme years ago at a gym, and Beachbody was like, okay, get together a whole group of test members to be in this. And so she put up flyers all over the gym. She was like, no problem. I'll get a whole bunch of people signed up to do this test group. I've got, huge classes. She put up flyers everywhere. And she said things like, get stronger, learn how to lift heavy, learn proper form and technique, really trying to pump up, getting into lifting and learning the benefits. It increases bone density and all these things, benefits and everything about lifting. And no one signed up. No one was signing up. And she was like, what the heck? Like, why is this happening? She completely revamped the flyers and all the marketing around it, and she spoke their language. And that's what I'm talking about with the power of influence. Influence is knowing what they want and presenting what they want. You can teach them once you've got their foot in the door what you think they need and the bigger picture of it all, and be like, see, isn't this amazing, being healthy and being happier and like all those things, the fluffier things that we want them to see about this. but what do they want? It's just like with weight loss. We know, we're like, look, but I want you to get healthy. I want you to have gut health. I want you to have brain health, all these things. But what does she really want? And I need to be really in tune with that. I really need to listen to that. A whole lot more she doesn't even know about that she could benefit from? Yes, but I need to focus on what she wants first, right? Does that make sense? Okay, so that's influence. Number 3 is offering an incentive. Offering an incentive with a date. Okay, so we're down to the wire. So you could say something like, just following up with you to see, I know we've talked about this before and you mentioned blah, blah, blah. And I know that this can help solve that problem because for those, for my new coaches that are joining with an investment by Thursday night, I'm offering a $25 Amazon gift card or $25 Target gift card or a $50 Amazon or Target gift card. We're allowed to offer something of value, a $50 value, but have a date set to it. And you might also want to say, and I have a new coach training that starts next week. It's go at your own pace, no pressure. And that comes to my number 4 tip, which is you got to then just ask and say, are you ready to give it a shot? Are you ready to give it a try? Okay, you have to just ask. So what the acronym is there is FROG, eat that frog, influence, incentive, and ask. So it equals, or the acronym is FIRE, okay? So this week needs to be FIRE. So at that last one with the ask, you have to just ask, are you ready to enroll? Are you ready to give it a shot? And I know that's a scary question to ask, but you have to ask, okay? You have to at least ask. And you can always, for someone that's been on the fence, and they've been considering this for a long time, and they're really, a lot of times they're worried they're gonna let you down. They're worried they're gonna let themselves down. They're worried because they're like, oh my gosh, I ate so poorly this past weekend over the holiday. How can I coach others? They're thinking all these things, trust me. They're like, how am I supposed to be a good example? I can't even get my own act together. How am I supposed to run a business? My house is a mess and life is chaotic. Those are the things they're saying. Get in their heads, okay? You know the types of things they're saying because we've all said them ourselves, right? So say those things, speak their language, say those things, let them know it's okay, and then, like I said, you got to just ask. And what I always say is, if I feel like they've been on the fence, I would say, if nothing else, it's a no-brainer for the discount. So I'll throw that out there if I know they're already using Shakeology or the Performance line or Beach Bars or something like that. I'll say, if nothing else, it's a no-brainer for the discount. And if they do end up joining because of that, if they're like, yeah, you're right, I might as well just sign up for the discount, but I don't know if I'll be working it anytime soon. Then I'll have them enroll, and once they've enrolled, then I'll say, hey, by the way, I know you're just going to focus on yourself for now, and that's totally cool. Do you want me to send you the email that I send to my coaches anyway? No worries if you do nothing with it, but do you want me to send that to you anyway? And they always say yes. They always say yes. And 9 times out of 10, if not more, they do something with the business. Like they at least take those next steps because they realize with the welcome email, like this is chill. This is not a race. This is not something that you can disappoint me because it's completely your business. Okay, so any questions, you guys? Any questions? Seems like I had a bonus point and now I don't remember what that was going to be because I didn't write it down. And if I don't write it down, I certainly don't remember. Oh, I know. I was going to tell you who won the drawing. Who won the drawing? So it is Carrie Douglas